It was a Friday, September 9th. It was, obviously an exciting day, warm day. So, we did our normal routine, left school, headed to Enfield, set up. So it was just an excitement, first game of the season. I just remember it being a little bit warmer than expected. The sun was setting and pounding on us, watching warm-ups. And
I would say it started off pretty normal. We all kind of went to work and went to school that morning. I remember sending Braiden a text early afternoon saying, this is your year, your team. Good luck tonight. The anticipation, arriving to the game and all the parents being excited for the first football game of the season. It was just really special when your son's hitting his senior year and he's going into the first, Friday night, playing Friday night under the lights is always special to begin with. And then him starting his senior year, obviously, there was a build-up going into that game that day.
Yeah, so woke up, a lot of excitement, first game day of the year. Threw on my white away jersey to wear to school. Drove me and my sister to school. Had my 3 classes, came home. I went to Walmart with my grandmother. And then obviously went back to get ready for the game. But that's actually the last thing I remember.
So it was the end of the first quarter. Braiden had a great first quarter. He was running around, throwing the ball all over the field. It was actually a 4th down play. He's a right-handed quarterback. He was rolling left toward our sideline. And he got to the sideline, jumped in the air, threw across his body, threw it downfield, completed the pass. And his momentum kind of carried him out of bounds onto our sideline.
And it was a 4th down play. I remember, seeing him kind of, it looked like he kind of jumped up and kind of threw the ball across his body. I remember seeing the receiver catch the ball and then Braiden went out of bounds. It looked like as if he was going down like he was injured, but he never got hit. So in my mind, I was wondering, did he twist his knee coming down from the play? I wasn't quite sure what happened.
I saw him have a brief interaction with one of my coaches, and then I saw him put himself down on all fours. And there was a little confusion at the time because I didn't understand why he went down. He didn't get hit. It was a little too early in the game for a cramp, so there was a little confusion on my part. So I approached him, I walked over, and once I got to him, I noticed what looked to me like some seizure activity. So immediately got the attention of our trainer, Tyler McCarthy.
My daughter, helps with the water. She's a ball girl, so she was on the sideline. She had called on the phone and said, "Mom, Braiden's having a seizure." So I remember, just kind of running down the bleachers, trying to get across the field. If I remember them saying, "We need a doctor." They were calling, "We need an AED." And I think in that moment, I knew that there was a medical emergency and it was much bigger than what I had anticipated.
I was calling his name, Braiden's name, took his helmet off. The ref kind of turned around and looked at me. He could sense something was wrong. I told him we had an emergency. And at that point, they stopped the game. And then it was just about 10, 15 minutes of, resuscitation, CPR, AEDs, paramedics, trying to stabilize Braiden.
You always hear stories of whether or not somebody can hear what is going on outside of that moment. And I knew obviously he wasn't conscious, but from a mom's perspective, I just wanted him to know that I was there. So I remember just saying, Braiden, mom's here, and I just kept on, repeating that because I wanted him to know I was there with him in that moment.
As a father, what was going through your mind in that moment?
Save his life. Really nothing else. When it's your son, it takes it to another level. But basically, I knew he was in trouble, and I knew I needed to do everything in my power and rely on the people that were with me to, do whatever we needed to save his life. It was a long month in the hospital. We were in Bay State for about a week and a half, and then they finally diagnosed the problem. Sent us to Boston Children's, where he did have a bypass surgery to bypass the damaged artery in his heart. And so, and then it was, surgery was done, and then it was, okay, here we go, next step. Next step is home. Even before we left the hospital, it was, we're going to go for a walk around the wing today. We're going to try some stairs today. We're going to learn how to roll out of bed properly. We're going to learn how to put some clothes on. We're going to learn how to take a shower.
For the first few days after, I was alert, but I had like short-term memory loss. So I'd ask frequent questions, often repeating myself. But the first thing I really remember is my parents explaining things to me bit by bit, and obviously I saw the million letters that were in my room. I was really looking forward to my senior year, so having to wrap my head around what had happened definitely took a while, and I spent a lot of long nights in the hospital, especially in the first week at Bay State, just thinking about what happened and trying to digest everything.
I think Braiden really led the way for us, as he recovered. It speaks to his strength and his character through the entire situation. But
so there was a huge recovery process in the hospital, and then we got home, and then it was more about the recovery of getting back socially and back into school and back around his teammates and friends and back into the community. The staff and faculty and administration, the town, for that matter, the whole state, the Enfield community was huge. It was really a remarkable experience to receive that outpouring of support, unlike anything we've ever experienced before.
The entire Woodstock community, Enfield community, people around the state, friends and family afar, it was really overwhelming, whether it be players had the number 10, on their cheeks. Our soccer team, our volleyball team, they were all sending messages.
Hey Braiden, the volleyball team and I just wanted to wish you a healthy recovery, and we want to know that we love you and we support you. Be strong!
Showed us that there's still a tremendous amount of good in the world and a lot of love and support in the world. We had people helping in any way you could possibly imagine, whether it's dropping off food, taking care of our dogs, cutting grass. Literally anything that needed to happen for that month when we were with Braiden.
It's a little overwhelming, obviously, because a lot of people, but I'm really grateful for everybody that supported me, all the messages I got, all the letters I got. It really made the month in the hospital and the recovery process a lot easier.
It's really remarkable. Not only the basketball season, but if we rewind to Thanksgiving Day, being in a position where he could put his pads back on and be with his teammates and dress for Thanksgiving and go out there and take the final snap of the game. Considering where we were just 5 or 6 weeks before that was truly remarkable. Then going back to Boston and getting cleared for basketball was amazing. And then watching him begin that journey in basketball and get his fitness back and kind of get back to being who he was athletically.
When he finally did take the field, it was kind of almost like one of those, it was like his own little Rudy moment in a way. I remember everybody, chanting his name and, yelling and cheering so loud for him and just, being it was just a moment for the entire community again, for the football family. You know, football is a family, and it was a moment for everybody to celebrate.
I suited up, I threw some passes and warm-ups, and being able to take that last snap with my guys out there on the field, it was really a full circle moment, and even though the season didn't go the way I wanted it to, it made me really happy.